Hello, it is November 5th, Monday, 2018. A lot happened this weekend. Well, let's just start with the good stuff. So this weekend, at my house, everybody was home. It was I don't know, probably like 7, 8 o'clock at night. And the craziest thing happened. I'm out in the hallway outside of our bedroom, and within eyesight is everybody in my family, because my fiance is coming out of the room carrying my daughter. My son is down the hall. I can see everybody. And as we're standing there, like, trying to coordinate getting everybody ready for bed, all of a sudden, just this force just hit my house, like, boom, and just shook the whole thing. It sounded like, it didn't sound like a tree fell on the house. It sounded like somebody threw a tree at my house. Like, it was huge. So instantly we're just like, what the hell happened? So we were running around. My first thought was a tree fell on the house, which, bad. Other thought was, the only thing that I can think of that would make the whole house shake like that was a garage door falling off the garage, just completely just ripping out of the track and just falling on one of our vehicles. So we run downstairs. It was already dark out. We grabbed a flashlight. I walked around the whole house. There's nothing, garage, nothing, basement, nothing. Walked the whole house. Nothing wrong whatsoever. So I asked Sam, my fiance. I asked her. I said, "Hey, text our neighbor and just see if they felt something. You know, they live. That's the only house that's like within eyesight of our house where we live. We're pretty much in the middle of nowhere, but they're only about 100 feet away from us, 200 feet away, and you can see their house. So Sam texted them, and they actually weren't home. They were like a town over in the town of Victor, and they were like, we're not home, but we felt it. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, they felt it in Victor. So I put on Facebook. I was just like, did anybody feel that shit? And at that point, I was thinking, sonic boom, possibly from an aircraft flying over. There's military helicopters and stuff flying over here all the time. I mean, I don't think you're legally allowed to go supersonic in the continental U.S., but who knows? That, or, I really didn't, a gas main or something like that going on. So I wasn't sure, but then, people started commenting, yeah, I felt it in Farmington, which is, 2 towns over, and then I felt it in Canandaigua, which is 2 towns over in the other direction, and it was felt and heard 4 towns away, and everyone's just like, what the hell happened? Well, the funny thing is, and I'll give him credit, my sister's fiance, Dan, he commented on my Facebook post where I was like, did anybody feel that? And he was like, probably just some hillbilly fucking shooting some Tannerite, which is a explosive that has become pretty popular with people to use for target practice and stuff, because it makes a pretty good boom. But normally you buy it in small amounts and you just blow up some stuff and have some fun. So yeah, it turned out that it down at the end of my road, not more than a half mile, quarter mile from my house, apparently somebody had some Tannerite, a lot of Tannerite, and was doing something with it. I'm assuming they were shooting it. And yeah, the blast was felt 4 towns away. The shock wave. And I can tell you, the way that thing hit my fucking house, and my house is not like 2x4s and drywall. I'm in a log home. This thing's made up of hundreds of logs, each as big as a telephone pole. This thing is sturdy. You're not going to move this fucking house, even with if you could drive a piece of equipment into it, and you're not going to do a whole lot to this house. It's not just going to crash. But this thing, yeah, it felt like somebody threw a tree against the house, the shockwave of this thing. So it was just a couple kids playing with Tannerite. Nobody died, from what I can assume, because there hasn't been a whole lot in the newspaper or anything like that. All the information I got was from the town's Facebook page, where everybody was all at once on there, just what the hell's going on? But do you know how? I don't even know. I mean, maybe anybody out there listening to this can tell me how much Tannerite do you need to create a shockwave that's felt 4 towns away. We're talking probably a good 15 miles at least. in any given direction. And I was only like a quarter to a half mile away from this thing. Like, it was, I don't know how anybody survived that. Like, how do you survive? Like, even if it's not like you're gonna get killed by the blast, like the shock wave that went out that hit my house, like that thing had to at least, like, you're deaf, or like your lungs are just like completely collapsed from the air getting sucked out from that shock wave. I don't know. So I mean, if anybody has any more information on this, or if I'm wrong and like I'm reading like the speculation here on what happened, all I know is that everybody around here felt this fucking thing, and holy shit! Like, I drove by the house that it supposedly happened on today, and you really can't say anything. Of course, if you're going to be shooting at that much tannerite, hopefully you put it way out into, like, the house backs up to fields, so there's just like farmland behind it. So hopefully you put it out far enough where that blast wasn't roadside. But yeah, holy shit! I mean, I felt that. I mean, I felt earthquakes here before. Like, we've had a couple earthquakes in the last like 5-6 years. Nothing major. Like, you wouldn't even feel it if you were on the ground floor, but if you happen to be on the second floor of your house, like, you can feel it, and it's a little weird. And this was nothing like that. This is just like, but like, I literally thought the garage door like just fell off the runners there, or a tree fell into my house. But yeah, that was pretty cool. And after that, I looked up some videos of people shooting tannerite, and yeah, that shit's that'll do it. If you have more than just a little bit, like, you're really asking for it. And if these jackasses got like 30, 40 pounds of this shit, like, oh yeah, I completely see from these videos like exactly how that would have done it. So yeah, that was a little excitement. The funny part about that is we were watching Independence Day, because my son had never obviously seen it because he's only 5, and then I found out my fiance had never seen Independence Day either. Like, the sound people heard might have been my head getting just blown from that, but yeah, she had never seen it. So we were watching it. We were right at the part where like the spaceships opened up and they shot that shit down into the buildings and blew up the cities, and right then the whole house is just like pfft. And yeah, it was kind of funny to see everybody's expression, especially my son, because he just like had this like, what the hell was that? So pretty exciting. Let's see. Let's go to the Bills game. Hey, the Bills played this Sunday. It was an amazing game. They totally stomped the Bears like everybody knew they would. Destroyed them at home. Protect our dirt. Except if you follow football, that's not how it happened. It was another Bills blowout. Another just almost. It was really like the first unwatchable game that I've seen. Like, I didn't finish it. I just turned it off and went out and played hockey in the driveway with my son because he was wanting to go out. So Nathan Peterman got the start. Peterman, who is famous for his interceptions and his inability to play professional quarterback in the NFL. But man, like, however, like his play wasn't terrible. Like, don't get me wrong, he's not a good quarterback. He's not the answer to a team that has a struggle in quarterback. But he didn't play bad. I mean, he threw for, we had more offensive yardage than we've had in quite some time. And the two of the 3 interceptions that he threw were not even his fault. It was our receivers' inability to catch anything, like catches that should have been made. But yeah, it was just, God. I mean, it was unwatchable. And I get they're going through a rebuilding year, but I don't even think that, like, watching the press conference with Sean McDermott, the head coach, like, I don't even think that he believes that he's going to be able to fix it. Here's my thing, is that if you're going through rebuilding, you have like a top 10 defense, like, defense is going great. We should see at least some week-to-week improvement on the offense. I mean, that we should be improving. Even if you're not fixing it, you're not making them playoff caliber overnight, but there should be improvement. It shouldn't be blowout after blowout after blowout after blowout. And when we do win, it's not the offense that wins; it's our defense that wins. Turnovers, and giving us, putting us in the spot where we can be successful despite the offense. But I was not hoping. I'm not one of those people. There's a lot of people that are just waiting for Peterman to fail. Personally, I feel like if he does good, awesome. Like, let the guy do good. He has the worst supporting cast to help him in the NFL. So you can't just like hang the guy. Let's see what he can do. My personal thought is we just let him play the rest of the season. I saw something today on Twitter, a news article saying, there might be more reason to watch the Bills for the rest of the season because Josh Allen could be back, really soon. Why would you put that guy back in? Why would you put him back in? The guy, I mean, you drafted him to be your franchise quarterback. You already got him just demolished because he wasn't ready to go out. Like, the guy has a hell of an arm. He's super athletic, but the guy can't read fucking defenses yet. He doesn't know what they're throwing at him, and he looks scared half the time, and he looks, too confident the other half of the time. Let him rest. Let him get through this season. Get through that. Put that injury so far behind him, it won't be an issue. Don't put him back out there just to get like people watching. Let's just go through the rest of the season. Not saying tank. Just do what you gotta do, and then we'll go from there and see what happens. But aside from that, you just gotta let the guy learn. Also coming up this week, midterm elections. Everybody's coming out and voting this Tuesday. I don't want to get political on this thing at all. One thing that social media has proven, and the current political climate, is that you cannot have an opinion without everybody just getting fucking mean. Like, just these people, like, on both sides, it's just your political view. It's just an opinion. It's the way you think shit should be going, and that's it. Like, it doesn't mean you gotta fucking hate your neighbor. Like, holy shit. But I will say, it seems like as far as the anger and hate, there's definitely more on the right side than on the left. Like, Jesus Christ, have you ever seen a party so just like angry? Like, it's actually kind of funny. I saw a quote this weekend that Obama made. He was at a rally, and there were a couple people heckling and just like yelling out like Trump's shit and stuff and booing him and stuff. And he's like, have you ever, like, why the hell are you guys all so mad? He's like, when I won the election, my side was happy. You guys are just angry. And it's true. Like, holy shit. Like, I have plenty of friends who are Republican and who voted Trump and who support Trump and everything like that. And I'm friends with them. It has nothing to do, like, I don't judge people based on their political beliefs. But holy shit, like, their stuff that they post on Facebook, it's so, like, it's just like, that's what the Democrats are not doing that I think is hurting them, honestly, is that they don't have, like, this huge just propaganda machine just pumping out, like, hateful fucking, and just, like, slandering articles and memes and just shit-talking anybody who's Democrat or anything like that. And it's like Republicans are all over that. Like, that's all they fucking do. And it's true. Like, you can disagree all you fucking want, but you're fucking lying to yourself, because, like, it's just everywhere. Like, every fucking person who supports Trump is just like reposting these just things that are just outright just hate. Like, is really all it is. And, like, how do you support this guy? I mean, he's like, you're voting for somebody who basically is saying that, like, there's migrants coming, a caravan coming to the U.S., and that's our biggest threat is a few thousand migrants with no money who are willing to literally walk thousands of miles to get here and maybe, like, get in and be safe from whatever they're looking for. But a guy those migrants coming into the country pose a huge danger. However, Russians, like, hacking into our systems and meddling with elections is like, he doesn't even investigate it. He's just like, yeah, well, whatever, it is what it is. Doesn't even want to acknowledge it. Like, that doesn't, like, raise a flag with you. Like, I mean, come on. Like, the Russians, like, they hacked our emails, they meddled in our elections, and nobody's going after it. And his supporters are, like, okay with that. And they're like, these fucking migrants coming here taking my job. Let me tell you something. If you got a fucking job that a Mexican speaking no English with no papers can come over and take, your fucking job sucks, and you should have done better in life anyway. Because, like, they're not taking my job, and there's most Americans who have worked for their job, they're not taking their jobs, okay? if you have a job that a migrant can take with no documentation, no legal paperwork or anything, work harder, okay? Because we're not trying to keep you going. But I mean, like the guy, like it's so stupid. Like the guy, like he won't even touch the Russians. I mean, he's just, well, I asked Mr. Putin about it, and he told me he didn't do it, so it was very convincing. I mean, come on, like, dude, there should be a show where it's like Donald Trump is like just a like he has his own fucking courtroom drama. And like, what is this guy's standard of investigation? Like every time something happens, he's like, "Well, I asked him about it, and they said no." So I'm convinced. Like the same thing with that journalist assassinated in Saudi Arabia. He's just like, "Well, I talked to him about it, and they said no." Like you like fucking that'd be the best show ever. It'd be like Donald Trump in a courtroom drama. He's like, "Your Honor, motion to dismiss." And they're like, "Why?" He's like, "My client's innocent." Well, how do you know that? Well, I had a very nice conversation with him, and he told me he didn't do it. Okay, so where's your proof? Well, he was very convincing, so I feel like we're cool. Like, that's how this guy is conducting international policy. Hey, come on, fucking build a wall. Build a fucking wall. Like, this dude got elected telling everybody he's gonna build a wall. Like, come on, you idiot. Nobody's building a wall. I'm gonna, like, what is he, in 4th grade? I'm gonna block you. You can't come on my side of the line. I'm gonna build a wall. First of all, if you defend the wall and you think it's a good idea, do me a favor. Go on Facebook and go into the search bar and just type in Mexican tunneling. Type it in, Mexican tunneling, and the first like 9 articles, like videos that come up are about the Mexican, like both the Mexican human trafficking and then the drug trafficking tunnels that they have under there. Like these fuckers, like they have tunnels that are like miles long going into the United States that have, they're ventilated, they have lights, they have rail systems, and like these people, they know what they're like. A wall is not going to stop them. Look at El Chapo. Like that motherfucker got broken out of prison with a tunnel that was like 2 miles long, and they burrowed right underneath his cell and got him out, and they had like everything they needed under there. There's tunnels all over the place. Like a wall is not going to do anything. It's like a figurehead. It's just something for people to look at while they just fucking go, yeah, fucking migrants. Like, he's not building a wall, you idiot. Like, nobody's building a wall. Second of all, who do you think's gonna fucking build the wall? Like, there's no government contractors that are gonna come out and just build this wall. The government is gonna award contracts to regular fucking construction companies that are in California and Texas, where this wall needs to be built. Guess who they fucking hire? Mexicans. Guess who most of them are? Illegal Mexicans that they pick up like at fucking Home Depot. And that's not a racist thing. I've done it before. Like I had a fucking friend who was doing yard work, not yard work, but fucking landscaping and shit. He flipped houses. That's what he did when I lived out in Colorado. And he was like, let's go to we're just going to get some day laborers. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm from New York. I don't know what you're talking about. And we drove down to the Home Depot, and there's just like a crowd of like 50 Mexicans stand there, and he drove up with his truck and just held up his hands and said, 10, I need 10. 10 fucking people jumped in the truck, and we drove out, and they did all the work for us that day, and he paid them and fed them and stuff. Like, that's how it works. So, like, this, and they're not gonna build a fucking wall. Like, the wall is not, get the fuck out of here, build a wall. Like, that's so retarded. Like, nobody can figure out, now, it's 2018, we can't figure out how to get it past a wall. Like, I just kept walking into it, and I just kept doing it until I couldn't get through. Like, fucking, come on. These people have nothing. If you're willing to like pick up your kids and carry them for 3,000 miles from Central America, you are not going to be stopped by a wall and just go home. Like, and the second part is like these people are not fucking evil like they're making it out to be. Like, it's just hate. They're not fucking evil. But anyway, there were 2 tigers killed in India. I read that this morning. Yeah, like. So there was like 2 tigers that were killed by a like natives in India. Literally killed 2 tigers, man-eating tigers that they've been looking for quite some time apparently, because that's a thing over there. They get eaten by tigers. So apparently they cornered one animal and got it surrounded to where it couldn't go anywhere, and they ran it over with a tractor, like just fucking pieces of shit. And then here's the best part is the second tiger was in its den hiding, and they lured it out with a mixture of Calvin Klein cologne and tiger piss. Like, how do you even come up with that? Like, is Brett Michaels over there going, yo, I know how to get this tiger out of here, you know? Like all I can say is, like, it's a good thing they didn't have any Axe body spray to try to mix, because the tiger would have just came out like a complete douchebag and just started shit-talking everybody. And it would have just, like, worked out a whole bunch before it came out. So you would have this jack tiger who's really into his body and just a complete douchebag. But just goes to show you that other places in the world have different problems than we have. We're worried about, the election tomorrow. We're not worried about a tiger that smells like Calvin Klein cologne coming in and eating our kids. Although, part of me kind of wishes that was one of my problems versus anything else. Yeah, so, anyway, that's the end of today's podcast. The end of today's podcast. Don't want to be that guy. So, yeah, I'll see you guys when I see you. Please, if you guys have any information on anything I talked about, or you got any comments or anything like that, please leave them in the comment box. And I'll get back to you. Again, if it's political and it's hate speech, go fuck yourself if you're a Trump supporter. And we can still be friends. I'm friends with many. However, your political views clash with mine, so that means we must hate each other, right? Wrong. Anyway, I will drink a beer with any Trump supporter and see if we can't come to some common ground. Just know that I disagree with your views, and your views don't align with mine. Good night, and have fun. I'll see you guys soon.